Hi, my name is Lee Odell. I'll be one of the judges for this year's poster sessions for the Undergraduate Research Forum. I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and it's great fun to do because I get to see the really extraordinary work that undergraduates here at Rensselaer are doing. Also, it's fun because I get to watch you folks take another step in your professional development. Watch you move out of the laboratory and the detailed work of people, the 2 or 3 people who know exactly what you're doing, into a larger public sphere of people who don't know what you're doing and don't know why it's important. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to show you some excerpts from the presentation that won first prize in this past year's competition. A wonderful presentation. But before I do, I want you to have some background information that will make sense, I believe, of all the specifics you see in just a moment. First thing you need to understand is that your presentation will be reviewed by 3 faculty members, none of whom may be from your major, some of whom will not even be from your school. Your presentation may be reviewed by an architect, a philosopher, a biologist, a mechanical engineer, who knows what. They won't be folks who've been in your laboratory. They won't know what you've been doing and why it's so important. Furthermore, the people who review your presentation will have 5 minutes. 5 minutes to see what you've been working on for months. Unfair, I know. 5 minutes to produce several months of work. That's how it is. Well, let's take a good look now at the presentation that won the very top prize this past year. As you see it, you'll realize several things. One, when this undergraduate, Caitlin Piet, presents her work, she's very careful at the very outset to say exactly what she's been doing. And she does this not just by using the technical language of her laboratory, but a language that will be accessible to an architect, to an engineer, to a chemist, to a literature teacher. So she uses language that's accessible. Furthermore, she's careful at the very outset to say why her work matters. This is important for you. Perhaps you can say why your work matters to your field, to what it contributes to the discipline. Perhaps you can talk about the larger social significance, but your judges are going to be listening for this. Why does your work matter? One other thing you need to keep in mind, you'll be using visuals in your posters. That's great. Make sure your visuals are large and clear. Make sure they contain only the detail people need to see in order to appreciate what you've done. Remember, folks will be looking at these visuals from a distance of 5 to 10 feet. Large, clear. That's the order of the day. Well, now, let's take a look at Caitlin's presentation.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Piet, and my work was with the determination of the role of MMP1 in the embryonic tracheal development of Drosophila melanogaster, which are fruit flies. So first, what are MMPs? MMPs, or matrix metalloproteinases, are proteases that help to cleave and remodel the extracellular matrix, which is essentially a system of proteins that exist between all cells. So why study MMPs? Well, MMP1 has already been found to be expressed in the larval tracheal system of Drosophila, and that fruit flies are good ideal organisms because they only have 2 MMPs, whereas humans, mammals, have more than 20. But why are MMPs even important? Well, they've been expressed in cancer, arthritis, and other inflammatory conditions in humans. And also, MMPs have been found in every stage of tumor development in every type of cancer. But more importantly, the level of MMPs is inversely proportional to your survival. In other words, if you have a higher level of MMPs, you have less chance of surviving. So one of the best ways to study the normal function of MMP1 is through the study of its mutants. As you can see here, this is the normal protein of MMP1. And right below is the protein that my lab created that's a mutant. You can see here, most of the coding region has been entirely deleted, rendering this protein completely non-functional. So now that I have these fruit flies that are MMP1 mutants, I have them lay eggs, I collect the eggs, and then I needed a way to sort them. I needed a way to tell between the heterozygous embryos, which have 1 normal copy and 1 abnormal copy, and the mutants, which have 2 abnormal copies. And the way I did this was to insert a transgene next to the normal copy, so that whenever it was inherited, as in heterozygous, you would see this stripe pattern here. However, where there was no normal copy inherited, you would see no stripe pattern, as in the mutants. So then I sorted these embryos into heterozygous and mutants, stained them with various antibodies, mounted them on slides, and had a lab member cover up the labels so that I wouldn't know which was which. This allowed me to analyze the expression of MMP and notice any defects and delays without having any prejudice. As you can see here, this is a normal heterozygous embryo, and this main branch of the trachea extends fully to the anterior region, and these secondary branches here fully extend into the tissues below. However, when you look at a mutant of the same stage, you notice that this main branch has yet to extend, and those secondary branches are so stunted that they haven't even begun to reach the tissues below. So what does this tell us about MMP1 in embryonic trachea? Well, now we know that MMP1 is necessary for extracellular matrix remodeling in the trachea, and that without it, the trachea are delayed and deformed. However, MMP1 is not critical to embryonic development. These embryos will go on and hatch and become larvae. These larvae, however, because of their tracheal defects and delays, will then die. So what I'll be doing next is to continue this research into the larval stages and begin to really examine what specifically is causing the death. Is it these early delays or something else?
Well, there you have it. There's an example of what we mean by a really excellent poster presentation. As you make this presentation, as you follow the guidelines we've been suggesting, you again will find that you're moving from one stage of your professional career, that of the laboratory and specialized work, into a public sphere, a public performance with people who don't know everything that you know. Well, I'm looking forward again to this presentation this year. Wish you good luck, and I'll see you in a couple of months.